Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Latinaly podcast. I wanted to start off this episode a little bit different today, and I wanted to, if the opportunity presents itself, give you my latest read. And if I loved it, I will recommend it. And if I didn't love it, I would tell you I didn't love it. The book that I just finished reading is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I feel like Alice Feeney is one of the best plot twist sort of, oh my gosh, like the way she blends a timeline, the way that she completely just throws you off. I'm like, yo. And then she really loves to like gag you. Like at the end of the book, it'll be like plot twist, and then you turn the page, and then a plot twist, and then you turn the page, and it's like, oh my God, girl, I'm getting whiplash. That's the kind of book that I love. Beautiful Ugly. I got this with my book of the month subscription, which love. It's only $16. How could you go wrong? Anyway, I loved it. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Very, very good. I'll give you a little snippet. Okay, so basically it's about an author whose wife disappears. And a year later, he's still overcome with tons of grief. He travels to a remote Scottish island, trying to get his life back on track, hasn't heard from his wife, seen from his wife. All he knows is that she has disappeared, doesn't know if she's dead or anything like that. And he goes to this remote Scottish island and sees a woman who looks just like his wife. You should definitely pick it up. For today's episode, we're going to dive into something that has become a little bit twisted, a little bit overused, and it's very watered down on the internet. And I've seen it used properly only a handful of times. And that is the term high value woman. We've seen it on dating advice, TikTok trends, endless Instagram posts. It's basically just trying to say that a high value woman is a perfect woman. And that is very unattainable, and you cannot push that narrative because that's not what a high value woman is. And do you ever notice that it's a fucking man who is incorrectly using the term high value woman? And do you notice that whenever they're incorrectly using that term, they're always using it to try to deliver the blueprint on what a woman should be? And that getting a man is the sole incentive for a woman to try to become a high value woman? Motherfucker, please. That's not what we're doing here today. So I've decided that I want to break down what I believe it means to be a high value woman. Not the way these men define it, not the way social media tries to define it, but in the way that we define it as women for ourselves. Because being a high value woman isn't performative. It's not some little kitschy fucking title that we wear on our shoulder and it's like this fun little thing. No, it's not a performance. It's an embodiment. And I can promise you that you're probably already living this truth and not even knowing it. And so before we get into the nitty gritty of the episode, let's just have one little disclaimer. And I want to be very clear about this. Being a high value woman is not about how you look. It is not about how much money you make or whether you can do it all. It's about energy, standards, and the way that you move through your world. High value women do not chase, they attract. They do not beg, they decide. And they know their worth without anyone needing to co-sign. Knowing your worth means that you don't have to put it on display. It doesn't mean that you have to shout it from the mountaintops. It just means that you are that bitch. Because we've been really conditioned to believe that our value is transactional. That if we look good enough, we achieve enough, that then we are valuable. But like I said, it ain't about proving. It ain't about, being rah-rah and doing whatever. No, it's about becoming. You ever think about it? And actually, my cousin and I are like this, and it has happened a plethora of times where we have walked into a room very quiet, not loud, not, theatrical or anything like that. And it's just quiet, confident, unbothered. Hello, hi, how are you? And the energy in the room shifts. Not to sound cocky, but that has happened so many times. And it really just shows the power of your presence. And it's truly because I know my value. I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table. I know I'm that bitch. I know that. I am exactly who I think I am. Because when you walk into a room and you could really care less what anybody around you thinks, you don't need external validation from anybody else around you. And people can feel that. And oddly enough, when you don't need external validation from anybody to co-sign your worth, your value, your that bitchness, you become very magnetic and you find that you attract so many people to you. Isn't that ironic? And I feel like a lot of us who definitely feel and embody being a high value woman, I feel like when we don't chase that external validation, there's sort of a level of respect that you receive as well from people around you. And it's funny, when you come across another high value woman, nothing has to really be said. You are both queens, you are present, you respect, you love, you laugh, and you move on, right? Like there's no need for this loud, obnoxious self-proclamation of I am who I am. No, 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 no. You already know that. You already know that. Because there's a very big difference in the behaviors of a high value woman and a pick me bitch. And sometimes when those two women are in the same room, one is going to be much louder than the other. And she will have a crowd around her for a little bit because she loves the attention. She loves the validation. She loves being the star in the sky in everybody's eyes and all that shit. But that is very, very fleeting. And it becomes very old very quickly. And then you will start to notice that the pick me bitch loves to try to shit on the high value woman because the high value woman is everything that she cannot be. The high value woman doesn't need to do all of these things to attract, to be blessed, to be favored, to be happy. She doesn't need all that shit. And then you kind of find that everybody who is giving this pick me bitch attention goes over to the high value woman. I have seen it with my own eyes. I have had it happen to me. I have had it happen to me. I have been at family functions and parties or just a regular get together or an outing, and it's just like you see the very loud mouth, nah, 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 right? And then you start to notice that everyone kind of comes in your direction. And almost too, when they come in your direction, they get a little flustered. They don't really know what to say. And then that's when you get the, oh my gosh, you're so intimidating. And I'm like, baby girl, I haven't said a word to you. All I said was hello. I didn't do a thing. It's your presence, not how loud you are. So if you're constantly seeking validation or chasing that sort of attraction, I would ask yourself, do I want to be admired temporarily or valued permanently? And again, this is all in my opinion. And if you do not share that opinion, that is totally fine. Boundaries is the cornerstone of being a high value woman. A high value woman does not over explain her nose. She does not shrink to be digestible. She does not stay quiet to keep the peace. She does not lower her standards. She enforces them. And she's not afraid to do so. And that makes people uncomfortable. Personally, I think a high value woman is very okay with making people uncomfortable because of the lack of compliance on our part to bad behavior. Because I've said this, and I will say it again. Your boundaries are not about controlling what people do. You cannot control people. Listen, you could set a boundary and that person could be like, well, you could go fuck yourself. And it's just like, okay, bye, see ya. Because people don't have to respect your boundaries. And that is when you cut the tie. So you cannot control people, but you can protect your energy. And that is why we set boundaries. This has happened in relationships that I've had with family, friends, colleagues, coworkers. I mean, the second that you stop overgiving, the second that you stop rolling over, the second that you stop being a doormat, the second that you stop tolerating bare minimum behavior, people around you will show you exactly who they are immediately. Because the moment that you set that boundary with them, something snaps and then their true colors start to come out. And one thing that I really, really identify with, and I just feel it makes me more grounded. I have a very tiny circle of friends. The family members that I do choose to talk to, it's really not that many, even though I have a gigantic family. And so I truly believe that Being a high value woman, it means that you're not afraid to lose people, especially if it means protecting your peace. Because I think that what I fear, especially now, I'm turning 31, I'm a mother. I think the biggest thing that I fear now is losing myself by keeping really shitty people in my circle. And I I don't have room for that in my life. So if you can't align, bye. You can go. So when we talk about a high value woman, I think we also not only talk about healthy boundary setting and, relationships, I think we also need to talk about the emotional intelligence of a high value woman. And I think more so in the sense of discussing conflict and how we deal with situations that arise. And I'm a very anxious person. And so this is something that I am working through because I don't have a gray area. Okay, so I think in this aspect, I do believe that these are traits of a high value woman. And I do exercise these, but unfortunately, with something like this, you have to be put in sticky situations or conflicting situations to exercise this high intelligence muscle in order for you to get better at it. So unfortunately, that's basically it. You got to go through some shit to get better at your reactiveness. And that's my biggest thing. It's like, a high value woman, that doesn't mean she doesn't lose her cool. It means understanding how much of yourself to give to the situation without depleting your energy, kind of thing. And I feel like I'm doing this more and more. But my issue is I either don't say anything and I let it roll off my back, or I completely black. So I need to find the middle, and that is of my reactiveness. Now, when it comes to communication, I definitely feel that when we're talking about emotional intelligence, we need to understand that communication is such a huge part of 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 being emotionally in tune with ourselves, because it kind of just brings me back to the saying, make your argument better, not louder. And when you're talking to people, when you're trying to communicate your emotions and articulate yourself, sometimes that could be very difficult. And what I've also learned in my life is that you cannot talk to people the way you want to talk to them in order to get what you want. It's talking to people in the way that they need to be spoken to for them to absorb and receive the information for you to be able to get what you want. It's a very, very highly intelligent way of thinking and communicating. And I remember I was talking to a therapist about this one time and he was like, "Where did you learn that?" I think at the time I was like 17 when I was talking to him about it. And he was like, "A lot of adults can't do that. So you're telling me that you do that?" I'm like, I try to do that. That doesn't mean that it always works out, but I try to. And the thing is, and this is where it gets a little conflicting, right? Because if you're always doing that and you're always trying to go high when they go low, if you're always trying to, and I truly believe that in this method of communication, you are handling people with grace. And I feel like when you do that, the issue is for someone like myself, I'm very much Sagittarius. I'm fucking crazy. My only issue with that is there's only so many times you can do that. There's only so many times in which you can talk to someone in the way that they would receive that information without it becoming fucking exhausting for you. Sometimes I just need to speak. Sometimes I just need to get it off my chest. And sometimes an opportunity will present itself to where you don't really have the time to sit and strategize and say, okay, I'm going to talk to this person like this in order to get what I want. Sure, perfect world sounds great. Can't do that all the time. People don't work like that. And sometimes you just react. But more so, I don't think it's the fact that you react. I think it's the fact that you can catch yourself and say, okay, whoa, wait. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you react, like me, like myself, I know I do this as well. I'm not perfect. And so sometimes, no, I'm not going to communicate effectively or clearly. Sometimes I'm just gonna black. I'm gonna see red. I'm gonna want to fight you. I'm gonna want to bite your head off. Like, it's okay to slip up, make a mistake. But another piece of this emotional intelligence is being able to take accountability for your actions, become self-aware. Understand, say, that was very fucked up, because the one thing that we do not love is a woman who is unaware of herself. I cannot stand women like that. I cannot stand women that don't know how to read a fucking room, blaming everybody else for their issues, or always fucking complaining. If they got reprimanded at work for something performative, they're gonna blame it on fucking Nancy and Drew, and it's just like, no. They're talking about you, babe. They're talking about you. I can't stand a woman that's like, nothing's my fault, and I don't know why they're picking on me, and I'm so great. And it's just like, what? Women who are like Michael Scott, I can't fucking stand. If we want to talk about an unaware king, it's him. Because we have flaws and we make mistakes. But to be self-aware means that you can catch them. Means that you can say, okay, hey, that was not cool. Maybe I need to work on this. Maybe we need to go to therapy. Maybe we need to take a step back, because I make mistakes. I need to work on myself too. But what I can't understand, and what I will never understand, are women who make the same mistake over and over and over and over again and have no fucking idea why they make the mistake. They have no idea why they can't get ahead in life. They can't. Accountability is very hot. Being self-aware, very hot. Very hot. We love a woman that knows how to say, I'm sorry. We love a woman that knows how to take responsibility. We love a woman that breaks generational curses and doesn't turn into a narcissist. We love that. I love that. Love that. You know, there are a lot of layers to self-care, and self-care looks so different for so many people, and it's very loosely defined on what self-care is. I mean, it's not just face masks and, a chai tea on a Sunday. Self-care also means to do the inner work, to, do the journaling, do the walk, have the messy times. Self-care looks like a good cry. Self-care looks like, maybe for you that day it looks like bed rotting. That way you can wake up the next day and fucking kill it. And I think that self-care also kind of just means unplugging, letting the day go, and then you can wake up and conquer the day. Sometimes self-care looks like cleaning a depression room. That makes you high value. Cleaning your depression room. Even something as simple as that, a depression room, there's shit all over the place, there's garbage, you bed rotted, like you making the decision to say, okay, enough. I'm cleaning this fucking room. High value. Because we are not going to get stuck. It doesn't mean not going through shitty times. It doesn't mean not having depressing, episodes. It doesn't mean not ever having your life fall apart. It means not wallowing in it so that you become negatively unrecognizable. Getting the help where you need it. Seeking that help and support. That's high value, babe. That's because you know your worth and you're like, okay, no, I deserve to be here, but I need a little help getting to where I was. Or I need a little help to get better. You being self-aware to say, I need some help. That's high value, babe. That's not low value at all. Self-care can also look like wearing a bunch of different hats that fulfill you. Being a mother, being a caregiver, not being a mother, being a career woman, becoming an entrepreneur, being a wife, being a dog mom. Like, you can do anything in this world, and just making sure that you do things with the sole purpose of fulfillment and joy. Not doing anything because you feel forced that you have to, or doing things because society tells you that you have to do these things. No pressure or expectations. No, you write your own motherfucking story. That's also self-care. Self-care is writing your own story and making sure that you make the decisions that are right for you in your life, not looking at anybody else's story and path and journey and thinking, well, fuck, am I too late? Should I already be there? Should I already be in that place? I saw this for myself and I'm not there yet. Am I a failure? Fuck no, you're not a failure. No, you're not. Because when we go through this journey and we start to say, okay, you know what? No, this is me. This is my life. Hey, maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I'm close, right? That's high value. That's high value. Being high value doesn't mean perfect. Being high value means that you are living for you in the way that suits you the best. Self-care is creativity. Self-care is learning. Self-care is exercise. Self-care is learning a new recipe, trying to maybe teach yourself a new language. Self-care is reading a fucking delicious book. Self-care is reading a self-help fucking care book. Self-care can look like anything. And the reason that we do these rituals of self-care is so for the sole purpose of fucking feeling good. Fuck looking good. I want to feel good. That's why we do these things. It's not doing these things to, to fucking look good on camera and to, be, look more desirable. No. We do these things because I enjoy it. When I'm done recording this episode, I'm going to go build a Lego and hang out with my husband. That's self-care. That's self-care. Love that for me. I do things because I want to do them, not because someone is pushing me to do it. Self-care is living in abundance. Honestly, self-care is prayer. Self-care is a mindset change. Self-care sometimes means speaking life into yourself. What is meant for me will never miss me. What I desire, I attract. Everything that I want is already coming to me. Whatever I spend, I get it back tenfold. Letting go is something that I've been very, very good at. Like my whole life. For so long, women have been told and brainwashed that their worth is tied to being agreeable and likable and easy and smiley and bubbly. Like we're supposed to perform in your fucking life in order to stay. Hell no. No, thank you. Because if we're going to talk about my personality, friendship, love in a very transactional way, that you need me to be one way in order for you to give me something else, that's more like a partnership of trade, a bartering of goods and services. That's not a relationship. And if I feel like I have to be that way with you, I do not want it. With me and my relationships, I pour into them just as much as they pour into me. And there are times when I pour into them a little bit more because they need it, and they pour into me a little bit more because I need it. That's just love. That's not transaction. It's not saying, well, you did this for me, so I'm going to do this for you. No, I never do anything for anybody expecting something in return. I love relationships that are like that. And I find that when you don't have that balance in a relationship and you're giving and giving and giving, it's a little bit like you're being taken advantage of. It's a little bit like they're kind of controlling you in a way. And sometimes when you give and give and give and you don't get anything in return and they make you feel bad for asking, the thing is it's not transactional to voice that you need something from someone that you love. And that's just using great communication, which is of a high value woman. Like it's just sometimes we need to start evaluating relationships and what they do for us. And I don't mean do as in acts of service. I mean do for us and our well-being. Because sometimes there are certain relationships that drain the life out of you, and there are some relationships that speak life into you. And for those that drain you, it's okay to let go. You don't always have to cut people off in such a fucked up way. I try not to do that anymore. But letting go of people that only bring you harm and toxicity and negativity. It's almost like, bitch, I did all this inner work. Doing all this shit. I am praying. I'm drinking water. I'm taking my vitamins. I'm making my money. I'm taking care of my kids. I'm minding my business. And you're going to come at me with this shit? You're going to try to put your dark cloud in my realm, in my space? For what? I'm not being performative enough for you, or because I'm not giving you my heart, body, and my soul to make you feel better? Bitch, I got my own life. No, those relationships drain you. Remove them. Let them go. Some relationships will bleed you dry, and when you have nothing left to give, they will drop you like a fucking bad habit. It has happened to me. I had a best friend 8 years. The weekend that we stopped being friends, this bitch had the nerve to say that I was her sister. And then it turned out that I had nothing left to give her. I didn't want to give any more of myself. I was only the person that she called when she was bored. If she had nothing else to do, she would want to hang out with me. If every other person in her world was busy, she would come to me. Funny enough, though, any man that I was ever with went right over to them. But the moment that I found my forever, you have nothing to sloppy second, bitch. That's what I'm saying. Let them go. Not only letting go of people, letting go of opportunity, letting go of money. There is such a thing as evil money. Letting go of things that do not serve you. Letting go of things that only bring you harm mentally, physically, emotionally. Let it go. Release it. Remove it. Put it in a jar and fucking light it on fire. Do what you gotta do. But remove it. Let it go. This last one hits home for me because it's been something that I've had to unlearn in order to become a high value woman. And I've had to unlearn hyper independence because I truly believe that a high value woman she's independent. You know, she's not codependent on anybody. She is independent. In my opinion, she does not confuse independence with isolation. You know, it's understanding that, yes, I can take care of myself. I tell my husband, I don't need you. I have never needed a man. I want you. I want you. I choose you. For me, that's more powerful than anything. My husband choosing me because he loves me, not because he has to, because he needs me. No. And I think it's like this, oh, I need you. Shh. No, you don't. Tell me I choose you. Oh, my heavenly Father. You tell me, listen, when my husband, we choose each other, please, please, please. That to me is so much deeper than you needing me. Sorry. Do not tell me that you need me because I'm going to look at you and be like, no, you don't. Because I don't need you. I don't. I choose you in this life and every other lifetime. That to me is a love deeper than the ocean. If God forbid something happened and I had to take care of myself and my kids and be a single mom, fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to survive. I'm going to do what I got to do because I'm an independent woman. I'm not going to fucking crumble and crash and burn if I don't. No, hell no. That's never going to be me. Never was me. Never will be me. I understand the beauty of independence, of being able to do something on your own. But then I also have the other side of it because I have the gift of people that want to show up for me, to allow people to help me. Can I do it on my own? Yeah. Do I want to? No, I don't. I don't want to do it all by myself. If I really had to do so, like even taking care of my kids, like when my husband works a lot of overtime and I'm single momming it because my man is at work, I am like, yo, this ain't for me. This ain't it. Don't get me wrong. If I had to, I would, but I don't have to. So I'm not gonna woulda, shoulda, could. I'm not doing it. And when he comes home, I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Because there's no way. There is absolutely no way. You need support. You need help. You should want people to want to take care of you. You should want people to want to support you because independence without vulnerability or support, it's not strength. It's not strength. It means that you are in survival mode. You become on autopilot, you become desensitized, you dissociate, and it's almost as though you're not living. You're not living, you are surviving, making it day by day, and nobody wants that. Because you don't have to do everything by yourself. You don't have to, put all this weight on your shoulders. You can share it with someone else if you have the opportunity to do so. Sometimes there are women that have no village, and that just fucking kills me. There are women who their husband is their village. There are women that have their in-laws and their husband. There are women that have nannies and au pairs and tutors. There's a bunch of different villages for everybody. And when you have that kind of support and love and friendship, like, why would you want to do it all by yourself? You do not have to, and you don't have to prove anything. You have nothing to prove by saying that you can do something all by yourself to fix something. That's not a flex, babe. Because one of the things about being a high value woman and being self aware of not only your behavior and of your actions and your reactiveness, but also being aware of what you need in your life, being aware of where you're depleted, being aware of where you need more love or what you need to pour into. What new activities do you want to give to yourself? In my opinion, being a high value woman is being very selfish with your energy and your peace and your well-being and your mental state. Being a high value woman is being very selfish with yourself because only you are going to take care of you the way that you need. A high value woman knows her worth without performance. We enforce boundaries like it's second nature. She leans into her emotional intelligence and growth. She balances independence with the power of connection. She knows what serves her and what no longer doesn't. She doesn't get stuck in patterns or behaviors that makes her completely unrecognizable to herself. At the end of the day, being a high value woman isn't about checking boxes to be perfect and to be this blueprint of what a woman should be. In its truest form, it is about being rooted in yourself so deeply that nobody can define your worth but you. And I know that after you listen to this episode, you're going to be like, oh shit, I am a high value woman, because you are exactly who you think you are. And that is all for today's episode of You Cannot Get Enough of Me the Same Way I Cannot Get Enough of You. Do me a favor and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Latinaly Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch this episode and you can watch us on Spotify. If there are any burning questions, piping hot tea, or you're just trying to seek some advice from your blunt bestie, be sure to visit ngl.link/Latinaly Podcast, or you can go onto my website, kiahburgos.com, and you can submit an anonymous message, and I answer all of your submissions on my monthly segment, signed Kiah. And if you also go to our website, you will see the first volume of merch that I dropped, and it's gorgeous, and you guys are getting your packages already, and that is so amazing. Love that for you. I'm your host, Kiah Burgos, and this is the Latinaly Podcast, where we are untamed, uncensored, and always unapologetic. I'll see you next week.